In a busy school hallway, it is easy to miss a classmate sitting perfectly motionless while everyone else rushes past. Supporting a peer in this situation requires more than a casual check-in. It requires the safe support intervention, a specific protocol for recognizing distress and connecting a friend with professional help. This protocol relies on a crucial prerequisite. You must identify your trusted adults, such as specific teachers or counselors, long before a crisis occurs. Approaching a crisis without a plan can be overwhelming for both you and your friend. Following a structured procedure ensures they receive proper care, while you maintain your role as a supporter, not a professional. Step 1 is identification. This begins by scanning for behavioral shifts, changes in how your friend usually interacts with the world. Watch for physical indicators. A friend may suddenly stop joining activities, avoid the group, or remain unusually silent during times they are usually social. Digital activity is an early warning system. Look for shifts in online tone, specifically messages expressing uncharacteristic anger or hopelessness. If you see these signs, move to step 2, initiating the approach. This must happen in a private, safe environment where you can speak without being overheard. Use these specific scripts to start the conversation. Are you okay? I noticed you haven't been yourself lately. Or, I'm here if you want to talk. These neutral openings avoid sounding like an interrogation. By keeping the language simple and observational, you lower their defensive barriers and build immediate trust. Once they start talking, you begin step 3, active listening. In this phase, remember that you are a bridge to help, not a therapist. The most common error is trying to fix the situation. Avoid the urge to offer immediate advice or interrupt their story with your own solutions. Avoid dismissive phrases that invalidate their feelings. Do not say, "just forget about it," "you're overreacting," or "others have bigger problems." Instead, use validating language. Say, "Thank you for telling me," and "you don't have to handle this by yourself." Listen, care, and do not judge. Prioritizing validation over problem-solving keeps your friend engaged. It also ensures you avoid taking on an emotional burden requiring professional training. Step 4 is to assess and escalate. If your friend mentions hurting themselves or others, running away, or immediate danger, you must involve an adult. You may feel pressured to keep a secret to protect the friendship. However, when a peer's safety is at risk, safety takes priority over a promise of secrecy. Initiate the handoff by saying, "Let's find someone who can help." Then walk with them directly to the trusted adult you identified earlier. The final step is digital containment. You must ensure the situation remains private and does not spread through the school's social networks. Maintain strict boundaries: no screenshots, no group chat discussions, and 0 social media gossip. Protecting a friend's digital privacy is a necessary part of ensuring their physical safety. Choosing long-term well-being over a short-term secret allows them to get help securely and privately. The protocol is complete once your friend is safely with a professional, such as a counselor or school administrator. By following these steps, you have acted as a secure conduit to professional help. You didn't have to solve the problem alone. You simply ensured the right people were involved. A safe school environment depends on students who notice the warning signs, have the courage to speak up, and know how to connect their friends with the support they need.